This is the 12 match races of Christmas, where us, the Triple Clowns, present to you some dream matchups. We are constantly working on original and I think groundbreaking horse racing shows that are informative and also, at the end of the day, fun, guys. So hit that like, subscribe button and that notification bell. Also follow us on Twitter at Clowns Triple and all other social media platforms, because we are going to bring you new shows. That's right, new shows that include horse racing conspiracies and odd stories, handicapping 101. We're going to do live picks from the track, and of course our show where we interview great guests and we do some horse racing skits that are a good time. Support us so we can keep going, trailblazing in the horse racing industry. From AJ Ryder, Sarah Marie, and of course myself, G. Randall Johnson. Happy holidays, and let's get it on with the 12 match races of Christmas. And here we are for another exciting match race of the 12 match races of Christmas. Now we have to start out with, this isn't really a match race. We kind of did this before with Arrogate and Frankel. We have to do that. We have to look at body of work, who's the better horse, because, I mean, unless we met these horses at maybe like, I don't know, 1310 meters, that maybe they'd be okay. Let's just go, who's the best horse, who is just a better horse. All right, we're going to go with that. So this isn't a match race, because I obviously think longer, Winx is going to kill Black Caviar. Shorter, Black Caviar is going to kill Winx. I think we can all agree on that. So we're going to go with that. But before any further ado, we have the multi-talented, beautiful Candice Hare, who's probably just coming off doing a shift at TVG with Hong Kong Racing. So thank you for coming on this early in the morning.
Thank you. Who needs sleep?
Right? This is thing.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great answer, Candice. Thank you for coming on. It's going to be a good time. We always love Candice being on here. Candice is here and going to be representing Winx. And one of the clowns is going to be representing Black Caviar. And in the blue corner, hailing from Australia with an impressive career record of 43 starts, 37 wins, and 3 seconds. Her major wins include the Furious Stakes, the Far Lap Stakes, the Sunshine Coast Guinness, Queensland Oaks, Theo Mark Stakes, Ebson's Handicap, W.S. Cox Plate, Apollo Stakes, Chipping Norton Stakes. I'm not going to go on because this horse has more stakes than Outback. This is your Australian Racing Hall of Famer in 2017, Winx. And in the red corner, hailing from Australia with an impressive unbeaten record of 25 starts, 25 wins. And those wins include ones in the Diamond, Jubilee Stakes, the Newmarket Stakes, Lightning Stakes, Patanax Farm Stakes, TJ Smith Stakes, William Reed Stakes, BTC Cup, CF Orr Stakes, Australia Stakes, Shalaki Stakes, Schwepp Stakes, Dan Hill Stakes. This is your World Thoroughbred Ranking #1 horse in 2013, Black Caviar. But before we start, let's tell them the rules.
All right. Well, our contest consists of 3 rounds. The first round, each contestant in our show will have an opportunity to present their opening argument. Each opening argument will be limited to 1 minute only. The second round is a Q&A with the judges. Each judges will get an opportunity to ask each contestant as many questions about each horse as they'd like. There is no time limit on this round. The final round consists of a free-for-all battle royale lasting 1 minute 30 seconds, where each contestant goes back and forth presenting their argument, and well, we'll just see what happens then. And at the end of the 3 rounds, the remaining 2 judges will then confer and decide our winner.
All right, so Candice, your first decision here is, who of the 3 clowns do you want to debate in the Black Caviar Winx debate?
I want to debate AJ.
Whoa!
All right. Oh man, Candice, you don't have any idea. Nick is asking the questions though. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that. Nick. Candy from Australia.
Okay, Candice doesn't know what you're talking about.
Candice,
either.
I did my Australian accent. I was going to argue with you.
Oh, I figured you guys were really prepared, so I'm going way off the deep
Oh,
end.
so you're going to AJ because you figured we're prepared. Nice.
Yes. Oh, God.
I couldn't even say Black Caviar's name.
Friends.
So that was, you probably should have picked me there. All right, so AJ is the pick. Candice.
Ooh, I like this.
AJ.
Right.
And remember, the only rule is, and this goes more for AJ, be nice or I will mute you.
I'm always nice.
That's not true.
You're
That
funny.
is not true.
I'm always nice-ish.
Nice.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we're going to have, so Candice, your choice. We have an open argument of 1 minute.
That's your.
You can go first or go second. What would you rather do?
I'll go second.
Second. That's what
All right.
everybody wants to do. That makes sense. All right.
Why would
So
you not pick
AJ,
second?
we're starting the clock. You ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Now, I don't want to take anything away from Winx here, but because Winx was a fine horse. I mean, these are two of Australians' best. But you're arguing against perfection here. Perfection. 25 starts, 25 victories, and all these victories were dominating victories. Winx's average margin of victory is actually less than Black Caviar's, and Black Caviar was running 6 furlongs for most of his career. You're talking about a horse who actually went outside of Australia, something that Winx didn't do, and won the Diamond Jubilee at Royal Ascot with a torn quad. Torn quad, still won. Probably the closest race of his career, but also, and if you want to look at it to speed figures between the two, 136 to 144, highest rated female of all time, or tied for the highest rated female of all time at 136, 2 points better. So I think you give any sort of middle distance in, 14, 7 furlongs.
And time.
I would go a mile. I still think she gets it.
Time. Woo.
All right.
All right.
All right, AJ, that was your case. That went by fast.
Really fast.
All right. So, Candice.
All right,
You ready?
you're up.
All right.
I'm ready.
Start the clock.
Start.
Black Caviar might have perfection, but Winx has more Group 1 victories, 22 of them, in fact. And even though, good point saying the margin of victory was less for Winx, but that's because she came from off the pace. We all know that. She was out the back in her races. Actually, the largest winning margin between the two of them went to Winx, who won by 8 lengths in one of her most dominant victories. She maybe didn't have the peak performance that everybody talks about, but she was consistent. So if these two are running against each other, consistency is on your side, in that Winx replicated her best performance far more frequently than Black Caviar did. Add to that one thing that made Winx great was her stride frequency. Compared to the average horse, she actually put in 30 more strides per minute than any other average horse on the planet. And that's what made her incredible and so versatile over a range of distances. So when you're talking about the two of these, you have to always keep in mind that Winx was a cut above the rest, no matter what they did, no matter what distance they went over. She was able to go to anybody else's game and still win.
All right. Time. All right. Good arguments. So
Really good, yeah.
let's go right into, so our second round is going to be where we ask the two contestants questions to a cross-examination thing here. And this is not timed, so we go as long as we want to here. Sarah, do we like to start it off, or would you like me to?
You can start it off.
Okay. All right. First,
Just don't hog the mic.
I do that a lot. Okay. So first, I'm gonna ask Candice this question specifically. Do you feel that? What was the reasoning, do you think, behind Winx being, I don't want to say, not leaving and not going anywhere else? What do you think the reasoning behind that was, compared to, I mean, I know Black Caviar only went once, but what do you think the reasoning was behind Winx that didn't want to go out there?
To be honest, I think when you're talking about horses, oftentimes we push them to travel to other jurisdictions because we want them to prove themselves. But I think at the stage of Winx's career, where she had really kind of asserted herself as the best horse in the world, I think Connections looked at it like, why do we have to travel? If you want to come beat the best, then come beat the best. And the good thing for her is that plenty of horses who were very good did. Obviously, you know that she beat Highland Real, who we know well from America and from his many, many travels and successes abroad. She was able to beat the likes of a Ben Battle, who was accomplished at the Group 1 level abroad as well. So if you're the best, why should you be the one having to go in to beat everybody else? Make them come to you. And that's what they put on the table. It's not her fault that they didn't want to come.
Right. The great. I'm going to go right on to it real quick because I got to.
I want to comment on that as well because I think it's fear of being exposed, and nothing else.
Okay, AJ, I'm gonna lead you a little bit into this, and maybe you can answer this. AJ, when you mentioned Highland Reel, do you think young Highland Reel? Do you think that Black Caviar has a better?
Get with it today.
A better. I know it's too early. A better, win.
I think going overseas and winning the Diamond Jubilee with torn quad, 2 torn muscles. There was another one too that I'm not sure of, but with torn quad and still managing to win that race, I think numbers be damned. That's an impressive win.
Okay, so you're going with injury over horse that she beat. Okay, all right, Sarah. I like it. It's all right.
All right. This question is about, I mean, you kind of stole mine with Winx. I was even going to wonder, why did Winx not even go to the Ascot? But I like Candice's response there with,
come get me?
Yeah, come get me. But I do, so both of these horses earned pretty high ranking titles throughout their careers. Would you say, Winx versus Black Caviar, would you say with their titles, they could battle each other, meaning, Black Caviar got Australian Horse of the Year, Winx got Horse of the Year multiple times as well. Winx was also inducted into the Hall of Fame. One of only 3 horses was inducted while in training. Do you think these career milestones are something that you can battle against with each other between the 2 horses? We'll start with Candice.
I mean, I'm going to say no because I don't think it's even a battle as far as her titles are concerned. Winx not only was in the Hall of Fame while she still raced, as you mentioned, she also had a race named after her while she was still racing, which takes a pretty special horse to do it. But I think even aside from the Horse of the Year titles, she did what many people thought would never, ever be done, and that was be able to win 3 Cox plates in a row. And, she didn't even just do that. She obviously added another one there at the end just for good measure. When Kingston Town did that, folks thought never again will that ever happen. And yet she was able to show everybody that absolutely was not the case. So to me, I would say you can't compare because I think her titles far surpass what we see from Black Caviar.
All right.
I see the wheel spinning.
Am I getting a rebuttal on that? Because I think
that's
kind of a ridiculous question. I mean, okay, so she got inducted to the Hall of Fame while she was training. I think Black Caviar was inducted to the Hall of Fame the day after she retired. It's who cares? Obviously they're both going to get there, but when you're racing, when you're 7 years old and you're damn near geriatric, I mean, it's yeah, of course, sure. It's about time. I mean, they got inducted, realistically, Black Caviar was inducted at 5. She was inducted at 7.
I got to ask Candice this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Candice, you said the thing about the strides with most strides per, what did you say?
Per minute. It was most stride frequency per minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that's a little slighted because she was a smaller horse than Black Caviar? Because obviously he doesn't need to do as many strides.
But not to a degree, right? Because she was going over further surface or further distances. So the fact that a horse of her type was still able to have the stride frequency at the peak of her run, that's something you don't see. And in fact, it was of the peak of many other sprinters. Winx's stride frequency at her very highest was faster than Lady Aurelia, who we know went over to Royal Ascot, was able to win in over sprint distances. She was a 5 furlong horse. So it's more remarkable than you're giving it credit for.
Okay. Because I was going to say, Candice, and this is definitely for you, that I feel like Black Caviar looked a little bit like, let's just say, Derrick Henry in football. Kind of looked like she wasn't working and just wanted by people like Harrison Smith. Is that true?
Okay. There's levels to this. One, ain't nobody running by Harrison Smith. So let's move that over to the side. Even at this stage of his career, he will tackle you. Nobody's running by him. Derrick Henry, well, I mean, you might be giving her a little bit too much credit. I didn't see her stiff arming anybody on the way towards the wire. But yes,
that's because she was ahead of everybody.
An athlete, a very imposing, powerful individual was Black Caviar. So she was nice, but we gotta check ourselves a little bit there.
Well, and my point was, obviously, I'm going after Candice's favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings, a little bit there, and mine is the Tennessee Titans. So, but there is this weird, like when I watch Black Caviar, it is like watching, you know, when Derrick Henry starts running away from people, and you're like, how is he fast? He doesn't look fast.
Yeah,
it's like he's straight up and just running, and other ones are like this, running as fast as they can. I do feel like, honestly, in this, like, that's what Black Caviar looked like to me, with a lot of it, where Winx looked like she worked hard, but not.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my last question really quick, is for both of you. I mean, do we both think that they both raced against competition in Australia that was really up to par? Do you feel like they were protected, honestly, both these horses, when the streak was going? Either one of you can start.
No. Do you think it was protected?
Yeah.
I mean, Black Caviar tested her medal outside of Australia. So, I mean, it's you're given the competition you're given at the time, and like, I don't know shit for Australian horses, but the fact of the matter is, it didn't matter what race she was in, she dominated every time. And to say for protected, I mean, and to say that she was protected, I mean, she actually gave it a shot. She didn't sit around and wait. She went after the best competition.
Okay. Candice, what do you think about that? I mean, especially towards the end of Winx's career, do you feel like that was protected a little bit?
I don't think it was intentionally protected. The thing is when nobody runs against you, you have to find a way to make the race go. I think anybody who owns a horse knows that. There are all times that we've had shares in horses that we wish we owned 5 other horses that we could put in the race so the race would go. That was the problem that she was dealing with at the end of her career, but she still wasn't protected. Again, she was still going against international Group 1 winners. Ben Battle came towards the end of her career. It was one in her second to last Cox Plate victory. So they were still coming after her, and she was still beating them. I mean, when you go through Black Caviar's career, I'll just start reeling off names. Midsummer, Southern Speed, Paylist. Like, are these horse names that you know? No. And there's a very good reason for it, because they were not that good. Like, it wasn't like she was running out here in Australia and beating amazing, amazing horses. Even in her Diamond Jubilee over at Royal Ascot, she defeated Moonlight Cloud by a head, she was a good little horse during her career. No qualms about that. She wasn't some world beater. She was a good little horse. But the rest of the horses in behind her were nothing. Rested Argent, Soul, Society Rock. I mean, these are not horses that are known to us here in the States. And again, there's reason for it. They were not good. But when I say, oh, Highland Real, you know that horse. And you know that not only after she beat him did he go straight on to win a Group 1. So the notion that, oh, he was very young, he wasn't that great, it's not true. He was a Group 1 winner just a couple weeks later.
Well, the reason you never heard of those horses is because she beat them on
hold on. We're going to go into this
in a second.
You got to wait for this.
Wait.
We're not going back and forth yet. Yes.
We are going to move on.
We're going to move on to that right
final
now.
round.
So hold it.
The Battle Royale. You guys have 1 minute and 30 seconds to plead your final cases for both of these horses. A minute 30.
FYI, this always goes longer, at least when I time it.
I know it does. I've been in it. Time it.
All right. We'll start now.
Okay, so you brought up consistency earlier. What is more consistent than 25 for 25? I mean, you want to talk about consistent. That's as consistent as it gets. That's 100% winning percentage, baby. That's tough to beat. Not only that, but you're talking about, this is a horse like, oh, Winx works super hard and had all these strides per minute. Like, who cares when you make it look that effortless to run like that? That was it's like a gazelle versus a chihuahua. Gazelle, long, beautiful strides, and then you got the little chihuahua back there trying to catch it with all those little steps. I mean, that's what the comparison I'm making here.
Candice, jump in at any time. It's fine. stopping, please.
Okay, consistency in your finishing position, fine, I'll give you that. But there's no consistency in Black Caviar's performances, and that's what matters most to me. Again, she was not beating anywhere near the level of competition of horses back at home that Winx was beating. When she traveled, the field was nowhere near as good as we think of a Royal Ascot field. You know, I mean, it's fine. If you think Black Caviar is maybe the best we've ever seen, then I'll just sit here and say Tepin's the best we've ever seen, because she went over to Ascot and she beat a really bad Group 1 field as well. So let's just give that to anybody who goes over there.
One race, European Sprinter of the Year. One race.
Winx,
That's all it took.
you know what? Winx was so good, and everybody else in America except you could see it, to the point that she wound up being named the Vox Populi Award, America's most popular, voted by the fans award here in the States, somewhere she never even raced. So we didn't have a problem.
I mean, that's the most political. I mean, awards are just political. That's all that is.
There was nothing political. Voted on.
You want to know what kind of awards being political? You can say Sarah Fuller got Special Teams Player of the Week for doing a kickoff. Don't tell me awards aren't political.
That one isn't though. We gave the people's choice. Fans had the vote. It was their say.
Yeah, which makes it even dumber because we know people are stupid.
All right,
okay.
and
time. All right, so now it's time where we're going to deliberate real quick.
We will deliberate.
And see if we come up with a decision. If we don't, we'll leave it to the comments. But I'm going to say, so I'm going to mention a couple of things here.
Yeah.
That I think one of the best things Candice got me on right there, and I'll say this first, because I think AJ stated a lot of the obvious, and I think he attacked a lot of the obvious. He missed.
Oh yeah, because I just learned about this.
You missed
10 minutes ago.
You missed big on what Candice brought up though, and she did bring it up: the putting your stablemates in the same race. Like there was a lot of them which you could have brought up, I think, which would have been a good.
Yeah, that was the one that I figured you had to come after.
I know. I was waiting for that. I was going to bait him on it, but then you said it, and I'm like, oh, did he just hear that? Because they don't talk about that much. But and you had a good excuse for it as well. If Zenyatta could have did that instead of having 5-horse races, she probably would have as well. When they used to do the same thing as Zenyatta. But
oh yeah.
I do like
Chad Brown does it. Chad Brown and Aidan O'Brien do it every week.
There you go. Yeah. You see it. Baffert does it, and the other horse will win.
The other horse wins, and we all get mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that. Yeah. I really like the point when she brought up the weak ascot. That was good, and I don't even know how true that is. I don't know. I'm not saying
it's true. It was like taking a Chad Brown filly mare turf horse and putting it on a plane and sending her to California and going to win the matriarch or something, and then saying this was the best Group 1 in the world.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Well, that would have been a very dominating performance had it not been on 3 legs. That's all I'm saying. So whether the field is weak or not, I mean, a healthy Black Caviar beats that field by 10.
AJ, you also kind of proved the point when she said it was a weak field, the Ascot, and then you came back with one race, Sprinter of the Year, just made that whole
That makes me think it must.
Leonard Fournette is not playing today.
Yeah, he hasn't been relevant since he left Jacksonville.
I was going to say, since he left LSU.
The less people on the field for Tampa, the happier I am. I don't care who it is.
Has he been active?
Breaking news for our podcast, too.
Yeah, it's going to be
inactive today.
Yeah.
They'll already know about
That'll do good when it comes out next week.
So that's what I would say. This was something that I've always gone back and forth with, and I don't know that much about, obviously. Winx, to me, when I was watching at the end, was running every 2 weeks to break this record. And don't get me wrong, coming down the stretch, that was just like a machine I've never seen before. But then I watched Black Caviar with this ease of what he did. But he's more of a question
very much an ease.
I feel like Black Caviar was always more of a question of what would he have done in a turf sprint in America? Would he have been able to get that comfortable if you had even nowadays like a Pee Wee Reese or somebody, or you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, I'm not comparing Pee Wee Reese to Black Caviar, but you know what I mean? Like
I was gonna be like, this is a bad row for Black Caviar.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like some just straight burner, like a quarter horse type that America will send after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing, but boy, he did make it look effortless, which I guess closers never make it look effortless. I would say Zenyatta's the only one that looked like she was jogging by everybody. That's probably the only horse I've ever seen that looks like a closer that doesn't look like they're just digging. But she's not as big as Zenyatta.
Well, she was very effortless. Winx was, obviously very impressive too at a distance. And, AJ would always bring up Black Caviar undefeated. Winx was not. Winx did lose 6 races total.
Yeah, most of them
all
were
in his three-year-old career. After his 3-year-old career, she raced till 7 undefeated.
Which
so
we learned
years and years and years of racing undefeated.
Where we learned from Joe Moran that they run older in the European horses and Australian horses run older. They start older. We start them at like 2-3 and then they're done. They go a little older. So I guess
usually it seems like their 4-year-old career is right where they start. Also, 3-year-olds are running a couple races.
Also,
they don't go as the mares for a mare to race that long is still pretty remarkable. It's very like beholder-esque. Their male horses especially will run longer. Oftentimes because they geld horses a lot more than we do here in America. So if they're no good, they just geld them right away. So then there's no reason to retire them if they're sound.
Welcome, yeah. And I also thought AJ would definitely bring up the fact of Black Caviar was inbred, correct?
Yes, Black Caviar
and I thought that gave everybody in Amboy hope that you can succeed.
Oh.
No one in Amboy watches this, so I felt it was irrelevant.
I didn't offend those 7 people in his hometown, by the way. No.
Wow.
Dude, we're up to like 12.
Whoa. Slow down, Amboy.
And they were all at the same family picnic. It's odd.
Well, it's in town, so it's nice.
So anyway,
that's so let's deliberate. What do we think?
I'm gonna go. I think AJ missed on a few things and stuck to a few things a little too. I think he had the opportunity to blow this out because I do think deep down, I think Black Caviar might have been a better, more impressive 25 or 25. I mean, Winx won what, 30, 29, 30? What was it?
No, he won 37 races.
No, 30. How many in a row?
Oh, it was like 30.
1, 2, 3?
3, I thought. I thought they had 30.
I don't know. Candice is supposed to be the expert. Why doesn't she tell?
Chime in.
I'm enjoying this too much.
Watching us flip and flop and flounder about how this is.
No, you're reminding me. I should have just said that. Winx won more in a row than Black Caviar did altogether.
It's all about winning percentage.
Black Caviar
winning
did
percentage.
the record, and then Winx came in and destroyed that undefeated
record.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, 25 for 25.
It's still unbelievably impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can just go from straight streak, but it matters what happened after that 25 streak. That's what I would say.
Well, yeah. Well, what if you said like, oh, Black Caviar retired her before she could lose?
Yeah.
I think she proved that she didn't do that, and as she did that for. I
don't think they thought 25 would ever get beat.
I think they just. Well, I'm thinking like, okay, we've done this 25 times, and we've destroyed everybody 25 times. Well, what's the point?
No, you have to remember. You talked a lot about Asuka. You have to remember Asuka
going out on top.
She almost lost that race. Like
that was jockey error too, more than anything, though. He eased up. He thought he had it. He even admits that.
You can't do that. I could go look at one of Winx's races and say, "Oh, she lost that jockey error." Like it happened.
Winx did have a really good one. I was telling you, but I'm gonna go.
Who are you?
I'm honestly, this is hard because, like I said, I'm trying to be biased in the arguments, just on the arguments here, because I was obviously partial a little bit to Black Caviar watching it because I probably watched more of it than I watched Winx. Now. But I watched Winx throughout Winx's career. I'm going to say, just because I was a little bit ahead, like I always do that scale, it's wrong.
This has literally been said every time we've done this.
This is our official Triple Clown scale of judgment.
Yeah. And I think Candice made some really good points, and AJ, he had his chance. I would say I would have won Black Caviar if he buried that put your stablemates in the race. Like, how hard are these records? Is this fixed? Is it whatever? You're already putting her in the Hall of Fame and everything like that. Is this a publicity thing? I mean, honestly, she was running every day and they were getting a big attention thing. I would have went on that. So is that anything over 25 that much of a big deal? I would have went on that. So I'm going to go. Can I go draw like AJ did last time? No, I'm going. You know what? I'm going Winx. I'm going to go Winx. I'm actually going to go Winx because.
To spite me is all that is.
No. It's really.
You said
not.
You don't want to be biased.
It's really not, because when I come down to it, was he actually more protected in a sense of being like retired after 25? Did he not want to go to 37? You know, I
mean, what do you have to prove anymore?
Can't lose if you're in the shed.
Keep winning until you lose, and then take the L.
Well, yeah, this was
easy to say.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Winx
you're going Winx. So yeah, these are two very tough horses to really compete against with very incredible careers. I don't particularly see Black Caviar could have had a 7-year-old career. I think towards the end of 6 years old, Black Caviar was ready to be done racing. When you really look at just like coming off of the Ascot injured and then somehow racing as successfully as she did through the 6th career, but it even seemed like towards the end of her 6th career, she was winning and she was getting by. I think it was a perfect time to retire her because I just think she would have gotten her first loss. But then again, first loss at 7-year-old, all right. But then you have Winx, who got all of her losses out of the way early in her career and just from 4 years on dominated till the end of her 7-year-old career. And both setting records, both gaining really tough titles and worldwide titles even for both of these horses, not just based solely in Australia titles. So this is tough. And you guys both brought up good arguments. AJ had the thing, if I was going to argue Black Caviar, one bullet point I was going to argue, which you did a lot, was he won the Ascot with 2 different injuries. He had 2 different tears. And yeah, was it a tight race? Of course, he was injured. Winx just seemed to kind of dominate whenever Winx hit the ground running. So long story short, this is tough. I don't know. I might have to draw on this.
You're going the Kurt Schilling angle with the bloody sock? Is that what we're doing here?
That's what it feels like.
Flu-ridden Jordan in the finals, man.
We can't do Paul Pierce coming out with his wheelchair because that was ridiculous. Yeah.
I know. I mean, but you watch these races and you're right. Black Caviar is effortless. And then Winx just has this like incredible move. And once Winx is on the lead, like good luck to any other horse in the field. You might as well just quit.
I like that 25 races also. When we looked at Secretariat, let's say, 21 races in Secretariat's career, retired at 4. Before his 4-year-old year. Mm-hmm. 25 races when you get to be 7, I feel like you are a bit protected.
Yeah.
Your whole career, I feel. I don't know. They don't really race as a 2-year-old, though. That's probably why and whatever. But, so you're going draw?
I can't pick. I mean.
All right, so I guess friends.
This is tough. Yeah.
You have to base it on the argument, though, not.
No, I am. I'm basing on both of what they said. And Candice brought up a lot of really good points, meaning Winx is just such a good horse anyways. So she's at the same point, like stating the obvious of like, and what I really, really loved is because you've said for a while, Winx was that good. Why did Winx never come here, run in the Breeders' Cup? Why did Winx never go to the Ascot? And just like Candice said, Winx stayed in Australia. It was like, you want this? Come get this.
But do we know that for sure? I mean,
yes.
It could very easily be.
They publicly
probably
said that. They were never
probably.
What if we sent over bricks and mortar?
Ooh.
What if we had sent over bricks and mortar?
How do you think that race would have gone?
That would not have even, on ratings, that would not have even been close.
No? On ratings?
No. I don't think that, no. I mean, I don't think we've had an American turf horse that would have been competitive with Winx for 50 years.
Well, you heard this here right now. We're going to get a bunch of people being like, they're going to start naming some weird ones. I don't know.
They are.
Bricks and mortar was the only one I could think of. That was pretty dominant. Okay. So you're going to go draw, but we'll leave it up to the people.
Yeah, let us know it in the comments, Black Caviar or Winx.
What do you think? Let me ask this real quick to Candice.
I'm gonna say this too. I think that Black Caviar was the easier argument. So I'm gonna get real excited if I somehow win this with Winx, who I think is more difficult to
Well,
argue.
Randy voted for you, and Sarah called it a draw. So by definition, I guess you do win, which is bullshit, and why I hate this whole format because it's kind of stupid.
It's the only win I'm gonna get today.
Yeah, like
That's
Candice
very
gets one
true.
win today. Come on now.
This is true. But no, and that's only AJ because I think you had like glowing things that you needed to bury.
It's harder to do when you get like a minute.
I know.
We are.
He's
Not to
done
mention,
it
I
once.
looked more at Black Caviar than I did Winx. I wasn't super familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was tough.
That was really good. And just remember,
is such an impressive horse.
So obviously this isn't the best racehorse in Australian history, correct, guys? You guys know who the best is. Candice, you know.
I'm intrigued. I'm interested in hearing what you're gonna say.
Wouldn't that be Far Lap?
Oh, I would say no.
Whoa!
But up there,
Who would you say?
you've had a couple of real greats. I know a lot of people would say Carbine, but he's one of those like race back in the 1800s type of a horse who, we hear horses like that kind of mentioned on occasion here in America. The one who I'd go to, though, is a horse named Tulloch. He was a New Zealand bred, but he raced in Australia for his career. And he was actually the horse who really put, if you know Gay Waterhouse, if you watch racing in Australia, he put her father on the map, TJ Smith, who went on to be the best trainer that Australia has ever seen. But he was a horse who, he was just so versatile over distances. He wound up being better as he got older, even though you mentioned some of the horses in Australia not running at 2. He ran at 2. He won 7 of 13 at 2 years old. He was a group level. In fact, this is before that they had the Group 1 system like they do today. So with races that we know of today as Group 1 races, but he was able to win a Derby. He won a Cox Plate. He won the Queen Elizabeth 3 times. Hall of Famer in both Australia and New Zealand. And he raced in a couple of races where he had to, really carry some weight. But what was remarkable about Tulloch is that for as brilliant as he was also very fragile. And I don't mean that as much as in injuries, but he had this really kind of weird stomach disease that almost killed him. And he wound up getting a bunch of recurring infections of this disease while they were trying to figure out what it was. He suffered a ton of severe weight loss. If you think of kind of American athletes who've had an illness where they couldn't exercise at all, you lose all that muscle mass and everything. And after he went through that whole saga, he actually came back and won several races that we now know of as Group 1 events. So during his career, he had 19 victories that are in present day Group 1s, and several of those came after that mysterious illness that he had. So it really was an amazing story. Tulloch, I highly advise looking him up.
Wow.
Tulloch, all right,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's why Candice was such a wealth of knowledge over seas especially, and here obviously. But it would have been great if Candice just said when I said who's the best racer.
I should have been like, yeah.
Black Caviar. You should have been like Black Caviar. Duh. You should have just said, and just mic dropped it, and then yeah. Oh no, AJ just can't argue. I know, but no, that's interesting. Thank you so much. That was fun. I don't know. All these American horse fans are probably angry right now, being like, "Who cares? They both suck." But these two, we know this.
You're have you been reading my comments on Twitter? That was what everyone said to me for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Now you know who it was. Oh,
right.
shoot.
And before we go with Candice, we always have to ask her prediction on the Vikings game. And remember, this is going to be out after you predict this game, so don't look silly.
Oh my gosh. First of all, this is the worst. How I'm even on with you guys, people don't know that we're recording this before on Sunday before the Vikings-Buccaneers game. This is our biggest game of the year because there's a ton of playoff implications. Basically, both of these teams are evenly matched on record. I don't think they're evenly matched on the field, though. And it's not in my favor. Last time I was on with you guys, right?
Yeah.
You guys said something about the Vikes. Was that I think that was when we played Green Bay. I don't remember who it was. And I just said there's no chance we're going to win, and we got blown out. And so I think the same thing is going to happen here. it's one of those weird games where like Tampa definitely has the better personnel in the field, and they've been playing like kind of crappy. But I don't know what the Vikings, like what area the Vikings could actually slow down Tom Brady. We have like no pass rush, and our corners are all rookies who've improved, but like improving against, wide receiver 3 is different than trying to cover Rob Gronkowski. So, it's one of those games where I'm hoping some of our young kids learn something, and we'll see, but I'm not terribly optimistic. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, which never really lends itself well to Minnesota. But if they somehow win, and you're hearing all this now, and you're like, wow, you're so negative about your team, it's because I'm a Vikings fan. Yeah, I've seen this so many times. I don't know what winning means.
Yeah. Well, just remember that you're going against Tom Brady, who AJ, if you've looked, has compared him to Gardner Minshew.
He's been pretty bad this year, but
you can still make the comparison statistically. Just saying.
It's so great. People got mad at me whenever they announced he was coming to Tampa, and everyone's like, best offense in the league. And people got mad at me because I was arguing that their offense was actually better with Jameis Winston. This is before the season started. People have this like real like anti Jameis thing, which is kind of funny because he's like real throwback to the quarterbacks who I grew up watching, because he just slings it down the field, and like if it's an interception, it is. But like if your guy can bring it in, it's a touchdown, which I don't have a problem with that risk reward if you have good wide receivers. But in this day and age, people get real mad about that.
Well, I think it's more that how he was in college as a person. I'm pretty sure that's what they hate him for.
I have to preface that by also saying that I'm a Florida State fan, so I watched a lot of Florida State. But in the same breath, I will fully acknowledge he has horrific technique. He would drive me crazy at Florida State because he has horrific technique. He would throw off his back foot all the time. He'd throw across his body all the time. In college, he could just get away with it. And obviously he can't get away with it in the pros. But I like when teams get a little more aggressive. People focus, I think, with him on the fact that he was like historically bad in a lot of ways, but he was historically great in many ways too. But
hey, Jameis threw like 33 and 33 touchdowns, interceptions.
You must have
could have been like 50 and 10.
Brett Favre.
Oh, yeah.
You must have loved getting Brett Favre.
Oh, for sure. Because there are circumstances where teams, especially in their play calling, can get a little bit conservative. So if you have a quarterback who's willing to like sling it and throw it in a tough situation, I mean, to me, that's what you pay, a Mike Evans or somebody for, is to get the ball when it's a contested catch. So I kind of lean towards quarterbacks who aren't so. Maybe it's because I have the ultimate quarterback who's really accurate and scared to throw it into any type of contested catch that I crave that.
None of those guys are a Ryan Tannehill. Let's just face that.
I'm a Ryan Tannehill super fan.
You are. That's why I actually said it.
Everybody knows. Every Sunday they'll see somewhere from me like Ryan Tannehill.
You have to be a closet Ryan Tannehill. I don't know why he does well. All right, so thank you, Candice, and we look forward to we'll do some Hong Kong racing, have you on, or we'll that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
We'll be more. We're coming along for the ride with Hong Kong.
It'll be fun, but also expensive, I think.
Program. We're not going to Hong Kong.
No, I mean like I can't imagine I'm going to pick a winner in that.
Yeah, but if you're just bet like $2 a race,
oh, I can't do that. It's going to be like a bunch.
We get to watch AJ go broke.
Yeah.
Get at that like beginner's luck or whatever.
Candice knows, so she'll help us out.
There we go. All right, Candice.
I'm gonna like always think that she's trying to undermine me and give me the wrong answer, so I'm gonna have to go against it.
I'm gonna text you guys the right answers and then to AJ.
That's what I mean. Like
that's no shot.
I would always be like thinking that's what's going on.
Because you'd be
like,
right.
Are they conspiring against me?
Because usually we are.
Especially too, because it's gonna be at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll be drunk.
2 in the morning, 2 afternoon. What's the difference? All right. So thank you, Candice. I know you probably need to get some rest and try to watch football at the same time. So good luck with that. And thank you so much
as always
for coming on the show for our 12 match races of Christmas to argue Winx.
Yep.
We'll get you on for an American Horse sooner than later. Candice. Don't worry about it. You're just our go-to over there. So. you know.
You're the international guru.
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
All right,
Candice Hare, and you can tell everybody out there where they can see you. Obviously, I think they know TVG, but what are you doing now there and everything like that?
You can find me on TVG. You can find me on Twitter at Candice Hare _. And you can always drop me questions. I've been kind of reactivating the new blog. Well, it's my very old blog, but kind of reactivating it with a lot of people's questions because people are always asking me stuff on international racing, especially. So I've been kind of answering some of those in a little more detail. So if you feel free to drop me a line if you ever have a question or looking to learn something about racing here or overseas.
Yeah. And you should. She obviously knows her stuff. We all know that.
Yeah.
All right. Candice, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Enjoy the games today. Get some rest, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right. Happy holidays.
You too.
Triple Clowns is a production of the team at Big Umbrella. Rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Send us your questions at tripleclowns@gmail.com and you may be featured on a future episode. Follow us on social media at ClownsTriple on Twitter and Instagram, and follow me, AJ Ryder, at Troy McClain WWE on Twitter. Like and subscribe to our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. All right, guys, for AJ Ryder, I'm out of here. See you later, everybody.